AVV Nation, all of YouTube, what's going on? My name is Patrick France, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest, bringing you a brand new piece to start your week off right. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite stocks out there and the big announcement they had last week and how that impacts you as a shareholder. Also, we'll be discussing why they could potentially be making these moves at this current time in the market. And then, as always, we'll finish off by taking a look at the chart because, as the old saying goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and a chart is like a big picture of the stock. So that can give us some insight on what to expect in the future. So if you guys enjoy these pieces, make sure, as always, smash that like button because that helps us out with the YouTube algorithms and doesn't cost you a thing and shows your support for the channel. And also make sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, so that way you can stay up to date with all the content that we have coming out for you on a weekly basis. So with that, let's jump right into it here today. All right, welcome back. So starting off here with the official announcement from GameStop's news website, the GameStop announces a 4-for-1 stock split as of last Wednesday, July 6, 2022. And they came out with the announcement that its board of directors had approved and declared a 4-for-1 stock split of its Class A common stock in the form of a stock dividend. Now, there's been a lot of confusion about the last little bit of a stock dividend. Realistically, from doing a lot of research into this seems to be more of a tax purpose declaring it this way rather than anything else other than, compared to a normal split. So the company's stock ex-dividend date will be July 18th. So meaning you have to hold the shares in your account on this date. So that comes as of next Monday. And then the dividend will be distributed or paid out as of next Friday, July 22nd. So let's go take a look at the difference between a stock dividend and a stock split. So here I've got the comparisons between the two. On one side we have the stock dividend. On the other side we have the stock split. So the meaning between each one of them is a stock dividend is in the form of equity shares, whereas a stock split is dividing those shares among how many there are. The purpose is, well, here it states when there's no cash liquidity with the company. The other one is to reduce the market price of its shares. But, another way of looking at that is not necessarily the lack of liquidity. It's the aspect of keeping that extra money inside the company to help grow it because you're expecting to see a lot of growth in the future. And especially if you're a growth company, that's what you'd expect to see. Rather give them out in shares and have the company grow rather than just giving out a one-time cash dividend and not seeing any growth and just having to pay the tax on that right away. So it's issued from a stock dividend standpoint, it's issued from the free reserves, whereas a stock split, there's no increase in number of shares. It's just simply taking it and dividing it by how much ever the split is. And then the shares for a stock dividend, additional shares are allotted to the existing shareholder, whereas the stock split is already held shares are divided. And then the accounting, really nothing that could impact you as an individual, but the accounting purposes, amounts from reserves is transferred to issued shares by passing journal entry, whereas no journal entry is passed in for a stock split. So this is really the main difference here is for the stock split dividend compared to a normal stock split. The dividend gives you a little bit different of tax purposes because of the way it's accounted for, rather than just, dividing your number of shares. There's not multiple types of stock dividends, whereas a stock split has two separate types where you can either be a forward split or a reverse split. So either increasing your float or decreasing your float. And now, as we were talking about though, the purpose, this was saying when there's no cash liquidity with the company. But the other way of looking at it, and a quote from here from Investopedia, and coming from the very last section, it said, "It should be noted that this dilution is the immediate effect of a stock dividend. The payment is intended as a reward to shareholders and is made with the assumption that the stock price will continue to rise and the stockholders will reap the rewards." So for everybody that's been diamond handing and holding since January of 2021 or even before that, this is basically a way of saying, thanks for holding, continuing to stick with us, going through this whole process of the transformation. And, they see the company expecting to continue to rise in the near future. So therefore, rather get the shares and have those increase to help the individual stockholder out, rather than just giving them one-time payment that may not be adequate compared to how much potential they could see their stock running with some big events coming up. So that brings us to the next question of why now? GameStop has been, staying under the wraps. The market hasn't been that great. So why offer a stock split dividend as of this point? Well, we know from previous videos that GameStop is planning on releasing their NFT marketplace and their marketplace in general by the end of Q2. There's been a lot of speculation that it'll be within the next week or so. There was a clue given out that I've seen posted on a bunch of different social medias talking about how, GameStop, or they expect to have that released by the middle of July. So hopefully, this kind of coincides with their overall plan on the marketplace launch. Also, they do have to release the iOS and Android mobile app for their GameStop wallets. So we should hopefully be able to see that, and that'll give us a better timeline on when their expectation is to release the actual marketplace. But once again, that should be in the very near future. And so now with that, let's go take a look at the chart and see what that is telling us. All right, so we're back. And what we're looking at is a 6-month time frame of the GameStop chart, where we see the price shown in candlesticks. We have a 3/8 exponential moving average, which is great for short-term trades. Then we also have the MACD here at the bottom, which is a great technical indicator that allows you to see not only short-term momentum, but also longer-term momentum as well. And then we have volume at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'll use the date line right here. And as we can see, this was the date that GameStop announced the dividend was coming out, but they announced it after the market hours. So therefore, the price action, we saw that big jump here on the 7th. Ran up about 15% for the day. Then it pulled back a little bit on news that the CFO was leaving, which was immediately replaced. And also they were planning on doing some slimming down or some fat cutting, or trimming the fat, if you will, on some of their workforce, because they don't need as much manpower right now to be able to maintain their projects, which is another indication that whatever they've been working on for over the last 1.5 to 2 years almost is pretty much done, ready to go. We're just waiting for that announcement. But then as of today, after we got through that down day, we're now seeing GameStop starting to pop back up. And really from a technical standpoint, when we look at the MACD here, the MACD stands for the moving average convergence divergence. And when we look at it, we can see these two lines, which are considered the MACD line and also the signal line. And on a short-term basis, when that MACD line or that light blue line crosses above the white line, that indicates short-term momentum to the upside. And then when the two moving averages or two moving lines here go above that level of 0, that indicates a longer-term uptrend here on the stock. So what did we see? Well, that most recent blast off we got towards the end of May put us up into this sideways channel between about 150 and about 120 here at the lows. So we can see this slight sideways move has caused MACD to cool off a little bit, but still staying in a positive longer term uptrend. And now if we resume that upward move like we saw on the 7th or last Thursday, that could have the MACD continuing to rise, giving us a nice long-term uptrend. So from a technical standpoint, things are looking really, really strong. Now, what we want to see here to give us an indication, if you're not already in, of when you could start potentially getting back in, well, or getting in for the first time, is looking for a breakout above that run-up we had last Thursday. So we're looking for a high price of 135.50 to be broken, which would be a level of resistance. If we can get above that level, that weak level of resistance, then we could very easily see the stock continuing to run to the 140s, 150s, 160s. And if we retest that level of resistance right around 150s, then we'll be blasting off back to that high of about 200 over the last 6 months. So what we're seeing with this sideways move is a lot of consolidation. Therefore, with a consolidation type of play, you want to wait for a breakout. That way you're giving a little bit up for the potential reward, but also reducing your risk aspect quite significantly here. So from a technical standpoint, that's what you'd be looking for. Now, from a value standpoint, stock, if they announce this marketplace and they have a few different big partners that they announce with that, because right now they've been keeping it under wraps and they haven't really given out too much about what they're planning on doing or what all it's going to include. So if there's a few big announcements and a few big partnerships announced with the marketplace launch, this could see the value aspect, or this could see making this price, or from a value standpoint, extremely undervalued when you base it off of a tech company or a growth company rather than just the brick and mortar that it was historically thought at. So, there's a lot of positives that could come in the very near future with this one. So that's my thoughts for now. As always, I can't wait to see what news comes out and all the announcements that they have with the marketplace release. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you excited about this marketplace launch? What are you looking forward to with the GameStop saga going forward? So once again, let me know your thoughts down below. And until next time, toodles.